Hi, wonderful people. It's Mrs. Tucker, and I am going to read you a story. It is called Dog Breath: The Horrible Trouble with Halitosis. The dog's name is Halitosis, and halitosis is a very fancy way of saying bad breath. So after I read the book to you, I am going to spin this spinner. And we are going to find the story elements of the story, Dog Breath. So while you're listening to the story, listen to see what was the solution. So we probably have to find what are the problems, what is the main idea of the story, who are the main characters, and where does the story take place? Oh, there's one more. How did the story end? So these are called story elements, and it helps with your reading comprehension. So remembering what you've read. So you're not reading it, but I'm reading it, and you need to remember. Okay, Dog Breath, written by Dave Pilkey. Look how cute that dog is. And I'll read any book with a dog in it. There once was a dog named Hallie who lived with the Tosis family. Halitosis was a very good dog, but she had a big problem. They're all plugging their noses. When the children took Halitosis for a walk, everyone else walked on the other side of the street. Even skunks avoided Halitosis. That's pretty bad. But the real trouble started one day when Grandpa Tosis stopped by for a cup of tea. Oh, Grandma Tosis. And Hallie jumped up to say hello. Oh, look at all the green bad breath. Poor Grandma. Mr. and Mrs. Tosis were not amused. Something has to be done about that smelly dog, they said. Oh, look, Grandma fell over in her chair. Poor dog, look at his sad little face. The next day, Mr. and Mrs. Tosis decided to find a new home for Hallie. The children knew that the only way they could save their dog was to get rid of her bad breath. So they took Halitosis to the top of a mountain that had a breathtaking view. Get it? Breathtaking? Supposed to take his bad breath away. Oh, look, free dog to a good home. Can't give your dog away. They hoped that the breathtaking view would take Hallie's breath away. But it didn't. Oh, look at the sun. Next, the children took Halitosis to a very exciting movie. They hoped that all the excitement would leave Hallie breathless. Because the movie says, it'll leave you breathless. It's called Breath of a Salesman. But it didn't. Finally, the children took Halitosis to a carnival. They hoped that Hallie would lose her breath on the speedy roller coaster. You think it's going to work? Because this poster says you'll lose your breath on our roller coaster. Oh my goodness, look at Hallie's breath and look at all the kids on the roller coaster. But that idea stunk too. The plans to change Hallie's bad breath had failed. Now only a miracle could save Halitosis. Sadly, the three friends said goodnight, unaware that a miracle was just on the horizon. Later that night, when everyone is sound asleep, two sneaky burglars crept into the Tosis house. The two burglars were tiptoeing through the dark, quiet rooms when suddenly they came upon, dun dun dun, Hallie Tosis. Yikes, whispered one burglar. It's a big, mean, scary dog. Ah, don't be silly, whispered the other burglar. That's only a cute little fuzzy puppy. The two burglars giggled at the sight of such a friendly little dog. That dog couldn't hurt a fly, whispered one burglar. Come here, Poochie Poochie, whispered the other. So Halitosis came over and gave the burglars a nice big kiss. Slurp! Uh-oh. The next morning, the Tosis family awoke to find two burglars passed out cold on their living room floor. It was a miracle. The Tosis family got a big reward for turning in the crooks, and soon Halitosis was the most famous crime-fighting dog in the country. In the end, Mr. and Mrs. Tosis changed their minds about finding a new home for Hallie. They decided to keep their wonderful watchdog after all. This home protected by dog breath. Because life without Halitosis just wouldn't make any sense. Get it? Sense? Like you smell scents of things? Oh. Okay, I'm going to spin the spinner. It landed on, what are the problems or conflicts? So what was the problem in this book? They had this nice, sweet dog, but what was his problem? His breath was terrible. They couldn't even stand it, right? That was the problem. All right, spinning the spinner again. It landed on, who are the main characters? So characters are people in the story that the story's about. So who would you say the main characters are? I would say there's two main characters. So the story is about, maybe three. Halitosis, the dog, right? He's probably the number one main character. And then who else? Who tries to fix his problem? The boy and the girl, right? Those are the main characters. That's who the story's about. Spin the spinner again. What is the main idea of the story? So main idea is, what is it mostly about? So if you just said, hey, I just read this cool book, it's about, what would you say? It's about a family who has a dog, but he has bad breath, so they have to get rid of him. But then he protects their house from burglars, and they get to keep him. Main idea of the story. All right, let's spin one more time. What was the solution? So remember, their problem was that their dog Halitosis had bad breath. How did they solve that problem? Solved the problem, did they? But what did Hallie's breath do that was good? From stealing stuff from their house, didn't it? So they decided to live with him and his smelly breath because he was worth it. Right? That's how I think it was solved. All right, you guys. If you get a dog, don't get rid of your dog, even if he has bad breath. Makes him very sad. He will miss you so much. Anyway, speaking of missing you so much, I miss you so much. Your teachers miss you so much. They wish that right this very minute, while you're listening to me, that they were in the classroom with you. So we'll have that again soon. I'm going to make a lot of videos this week, so please watch them because I think they're pretty good. And I miss you.